All right, I think we're live.
Awesome.
Yep,
So
zero drop
exciting.
frames. Yeah, how are you doing, Eric?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I can't complain on my end either.
Another day.
Another day. It's been pretty busy for me.
Yeah, I
At
hear
least with the
that.
hobby aspect of stuff.
Hasn't been busy in that aspect for me.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I feel I just have so much stuff that I have to try and finish in the next I guess a little under 2 months for the Mordheim event. So I finally started working on painting some of the models.
yeah, shit, that's pretty real now that you mention it.
Yeah, it's
Um,
close.
like
Um,
I started painting a little too, but then was at that conference for a week basically, and lots of I don't know.
yeah. No, I hear that. So I primed like maybe the first five models white or a light gray. And now
Okay.
I'm unsure what if I want to go and then go and spray them black like I normally do, or if I want to go from the whitish gray to like a brown or something.
I mean, that's an interesting thought. I mean, you could get kind of working with the white. I mean, that could speed things up and maybe push you to try some different stuff. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, so that's possible. I'm considering maybe just spraying them with like maybe the initial color that I would use to paint their robes or something.
Yeah,
It'll still probably be like a darker color because
yeah. I mean, I
that's
think
what I'm
that's
used
fine,
to. But
but I
um,
feel that could be useful. I mean, I feel that's probably a way people paint things more quickly is
yeah,
taking more. I mean, that would allow you to take maybe a little bit more advantage of the airbrush.
yeah, no, it's true. So it's going okay. Um, can't complain too much. I've also been working on what I guess will be the seventh member of the war band, which is I wasn't actually sure I was gonna make another model, but I
Hmm.
sort of wanted to, and um, the idea of this one is gonna hopefully be a faster conversion and fill the role of like the conversion corner aspect of the blog this month. But we can talk about that in a little while. I guess the most exciting thing that's happened recently in the hobby is probably just that like the most recent Warhammer Fest just happened this weekend.
Yeah, and that exciting thing is that Golden Demon's back, coming back to the United States.
That's actually really neat. Like it's been a long time since it's been in the states. I'm not really actually sure how many
I
years
mean,
now,
over
but
10 years, right? Probably.
yeah, that's probably true.
It was
Um,
before we started graduate school, I think.
yeah, before the blog, so it's yeah. So it's been a while. So yeah, that's exciting. I feel it's being held at Adepticon. Is that right?
It is, yeah. So back to Chicago. I have to go back to Chicago.
Yeah, that's actually good. Maybe that'll encourage us to actually go to Chicago and go to Adepticon.
I feel it's
Um,
one more reason to go. I mean, we've had lots of reasons, sort of, that
yeah,
we
it'd
could
be
or
interesting to enter some stuff into Golden Demon again.
I mean, I feel that wouldn't be the reason we would go, but I mean,
no, because
that's would
it's
it would
doubtable as to whether I would win anything. But
it would
I
be
mean,
more just one more reason to, but like I feel it's becoming a lot more of a mecca for people involved in all aspects of the hobby, and particularly for the Inc. 28 sort
yeah,
of community. More and more people than ever are going there, and
no, I
Dark
think
Tech and
it's
Weirding Way are there, so that's cool.
yeah. It's about time we've actually went.
I feel it
um,
would be a nice way to continue to network with people and like actually put faces
yeah, no, I agree. I
to
agree.
them. But no more crystal brush at Adepticon. admittedly, I don't know a whole lot about Crystal Brush,
I can't
other
say I
than that
really
their
do either.
website for voting on your favorites is so god awful. Like you like couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when a bunch of people who had entered stuff on Instagram were posting about, oh, go and vote for your favorites, and I see I only put forth the most minimal amount of effort, and like I didn't get very far, and I was ultimately unsuccessful in voting for anything. And so I don't. It would
I
be
think
interesting to know.
I voted for Neil's Dark Eldar sort of character, I
He was
think,
cool.
but it was really hard to do.
So you were at least partially successful.
It was hard. I mean, it was like the worst website ever made. I mean, not that, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad for like a modern thing.
Yeah, I don't, it also
I mean,
seems
maybe that was actually telling you something that they don't actually value the viewers'
maybe.
input,
Yeah, who knows?
and it's not actually a thing.
Yeah, who knows? Um,
You rushing out to get Kill Team Elites this weekend, Adam?
is that this weekend?
I think so. It says
Well,
pre-order now
hmm.
on the screen there.
Heck yeah. It does say that. Well, I don't. Maybe I will. No, I really don't see why I would. Um,
To get more rules for a game we hardly play.
we played it like 2 times. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean it's
We
good
need
for.
more rules. I want to use the commanders first, though.
This has commanders in it though,
What? So then,
or
heck yeah, I'm going to get
it
it.
has additional commanders. I
Oh,
think it also
okay.
has additional sort of missions to play and
Johnny,
various
I don't
things.
actually know if the online voting actually contributes towards the winner. Do you know, Eric?
It does.
It does.
From my
Okay.
understanding, it does, but I don't think it's like a 50-50 thing.
That's pretty
But
weird.
it does have some contribution. What's weirder than that is that they like Photoshop and edit the pictures before posting them.
So wait a minute. They take pictures of everything and then they
They do some post processing and stuff and then put those up.
why?
I don't know.
Presumably that would like actually change what the model looks. Well, I guess it
I was
depends on how
listening
much they
to
do it.
Yes, I was listening to the Imperial Truth podcast, which is a
Yep.
pretty good podcast. Um,
It is a good
and
podcast.
Neil, the had he's one of the people in there has won a Slayer sword for Perturabo. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
a year or so back, but he entered something in this crystal brush. It was his first time doing it, and one of the more recent episodes, he kind of talks about that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I believe he's
Hey man,
friends
drink
with
shade.
the. Oh yeah, hey.
It's
But I
going
believe
okay.
Neil's friends with whomever won the kind of gold for the single figure category, which is a Rogel Dorn. And I
Mm-hmm.
guess I mean, ultimately, everyone who's listening to this should just listen to the podcast because I'm probably not recounting this exactly right. But I believe when the pictures went live, Neil and the other person are like, um, kind of in the same room or whatever. And he was really excited because it's like, yes, like these pictures make the blends I did look better than they actually are.
So the
So
post processing they do in Crystal Brush does make a difference.
yeah, so I think that is just another facet of it that it's just very different from,
Hmm,
and I think um,
that's weird.
just like the stuff the judges are looking for are very different. Like they really like sharp contrasts and things. Like they're different from the Golden Demons sort of strategy or what they look at as very good technical painting and not necessarily like a particular art style. And I think from what I gather, Crystal Brush has a slightly different thing they're looking for, which ultimately it's good that there are different painting contests that sort of cater to different
Well, now
things.
that Crystal Brush is not going to be at Adepticon, is it? Do they have another place they're slated to?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I assume it won't go away, but
yeah. Well,
where exactly it is going, that sort of thing, I'm not sure.
yeah. Well, so I think later this week we're probably gonna do a more in-depth talk about some of the stuff at Warhammer Fest and maybe actually record a podcast. Is that right, Eric?
Yeah, it's been like a long time since we recorded anything, but
But I guess
unfortunately, Greg couldn't be with us tonight, so we're
so. I
gonna
guess
hold
we
off
can,
on
in the
that.
meantime, we can at least briefly talk about some of the stuff that was announced over the weekend, and we'll probably go in
What's the
more
most
depth.
exciting thing, Adam?
What
What
was the
were you
most
most
exciting
excited
thing?
about?
Um, I guess if I'll be honest, I didn't pay that much attention to it, but I was probably most excited about the new Adeptus Titanicus models. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, admitted, and they didn't even do a very good job of, like, I feel they could have conveyed those Adeptus Titanicus models in a more exciting light if they made it clear that a lot of those were actually going to be in plastic.
Well, are they going to be in plastic?
In some pictures I saw throughout the interwebs, at least the larger
Huh.
knight with the cannons, that's plastic. I saw the sprues for it.
Oh, that's good. So,
And I think I saw a picture that made it to me look like the little knight assessor. So yeah, that's in plastic, whatever that's
that's
called.
good. I don't
And
remember
I
what it's called.
think it looked from an unpainted version of the uh like knight accessory weapons, like the power fist and stuff. They also looked plastic. So
Hmm.
if that's the case, that's pretty rad. It would be cool if the other ESO different heads and additional weapons. So I mean that's cool. Actually, meandering shade, yeah, I think you kind of that is certainly something else that I'm pretty excited about. That there looks like the enforcers are coming to Necromunda, so that's
Oh, yeah,
exciting.
that's true. So, I remember I saw the teaser for that and I already forgot about it, but I was excited about that. And I feel
And
like I love those enforcers, and like some of the older models were great. The Judge Dredd vibe is cool.
mm-hmm.
Um, I feel I'm cautiously optimistic about them. Like I'm hoping they make them like really fucking cool.
I
And
mean, it's an
there's a
interesting thing.
reasonable chance they will, but there's also a chance they'll really bumble them.
Yeah, so I think that's but I feel even if they do kind of bumble them, like they did bumble a few of the Necromunda releases, most of them have still been very useful in the context of
Yeah,
conversions and things. Like the lock models aren't perfect in any way, but you've already like made two models with them now, and like so I feel,
yeah. Or yeah,
and
I'm
even
working on a
yeah,
second one now. Yeah,
yeah, even the Caldor models, which are kind of trash in a lot of ways.
Orlock or Caldor? Which one are you?
I was saying Orlock are like not kind of trash; they are trash. Um, the Caldor have like a lot of elements that are
The
kind of
balloon
shit,
feet, the
but
Caldor balloon feet. I hate their feet. But aside,
but they're still very. I think they're still very useful. So I feel with these enforcer models, they will be very useful, even if
oh
they aren't.
yeah,
But hopefully, they kind of keep this older enforcer vibe, but like refine it a little bit.
I'm
And
hoping they make their weapons smaller.
yeah, I just hope their riot guns don't become like bigger than the plastic scout weapons.
Yeah, I think the best thing about the re-release of Necromunda was the fact that they re-released all these new gangs, slightly redesigned them, and they're just about all of them are great. Yeah, for conversions. And I mean, I think I've purchased all of them except the Orlocks.
Can't do it. Won't do it.
Yeah, I don't think I can do it. But all the other ones I got.
Can't do it.
And I even feel the Orlocks, as much as I hate them, I think there are components that you could use.
Well, their weapons are gigantic, but I mean, some of that stuff you could probably use for elements for like Space Marine weapons and things.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
you could trim them
so,
down and modify them, and they'd be okay. Not
like
really
they
the
still,
revolvers, but
like they still aren't worthless.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
So yeah, it'll be cool to see what they do with the enforcers. Hopefully they show pictures pretty soon. Um, and I guess while I am getting back to what we were talking about, it's neat that they're still releasing stuff for Adeptus Titanicus. It's clear they didn't, since they didn't show that much of it. Like I guess they weren't expecting it would be people would be super excited about it. But they also have some like pretty nice looking like little terrain pieces, and I feel these could probably even be used for 40K as well, for like smaller detailing and stuff. So
yeah, it's true.
stuff's nice. One of these days we'll have to actually try and get stuff assembled enough to actually play a game or two of it at Adeptus Titanicus. I'd like to.
That would be fun. Actually, for that matter, Meandering Shade, Johnny, what are your favorite Necromunda gangs in terms of like the newer plastic models?
I don't know which. If I were to say my favorite, I
The
really
lock because
like.
they're so tall.
I actually really like the Goliaths, actually. I haven't really done anything with them, but I actually quite like them. Aside from all their weapons, they're awful, but and I think probably the Delok gang is up there as well, aside from their weapons. Like they're great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't
About playing Adeptus Titanicus, I got so far painting this one Warhammer, then I stopped.
you can always start up again.
It's true. Not until I finish this other.
The Mordheim stuff. I
Yeah, you
know,
did.
Mandarin Shade, you like the Orlocks. Maybe I need to actually get some of them and look at them in person. Maybe they're not as bad as I think they are, but I've seen a lot of evidence to suggest they are as bad as I think they are.
I mean, I like the Orlocks as a thing.
So I like the Vansar as well. The only thing, it's just some of their poses are so weird, and like one of them, like the lengths of their thighs are different, like significantly different. So like there are just a couple things on them that are just like really weird, and I really scratch my head like how did they let that happen? And their armor plating on the Vansar's legs, like it's just not designed right, such that the armor plates like dig into the sides of their hips and stuff. And I think that's part of the reason why some of their poses are so extended and like squatting and like really weird. So like I feel if their legs were posed a little more naturally on some of them, maybe they would be my favorite. Johnny, you have made some cool stuff with them. Um, and I feel in terms of like conversion material, it's really nice. Like they have their armored body gloves and everything, so they kind of like fit in really well with lots of different
Yeah.
conversions and applications. Um, yeah, spec op void suits. That's true. Well, in terms of Necromunda, they didn't really show a whole lot. They mentioned the enforcers, and I guess they did show pictures of the redesigned House Caldor. I don't even know what this is supposed to be, like, known as the Headsman. So I guess this was the executioner who, when they showed a while ago, he had kind of more of a pointy hat, kind of like a KKK member, and I guess people weren't too thrilled with that,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and they went back and changed it. And I mean, this looks nice too, so it's fine. This picture of the model does do a good job of sort of highlighting the thing that I like hate the most about the Caldor models, and that's their feet. Like, look at this. Like his right foot, it literally looks like a water balloon, and then the other one,
Makes sense.
the other one's a little harder to tell, but it just has this fucking huge, like armored, like rubberized armor piece that's just so big. It just looks looks really wrong to me. But mainly those balloon feet. God, I hate them. Just don't like them. If they didn't have the balloon feet, they'd be a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I guess meandering the shade, maybe you have a point with some of the different physiology, but I feel that's it's going a little bit too close to caricature. And
I don't know. It's sort of interesting. Like one of the things that I sort of like. I don't know what I think about the new background in Necromunda, but it almost, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but isn't it like now these different gangs are almost like fighting for like the different like higher ups in like the city and stuff, and like battling proxy wars for them and shit? Is
yeah,
that true? Doesn't that seem like in some regards like completely against like the punk rebel, do what you want, like attitude type thing? Like they're not. They're actually they're someone else's bitch, and they're like fighting for like
I
that seems
don't.
like so wrong and
Well,
against
even
like the
even if they
spirit
didn't, I feel
of
even if they
Necromunda.
didn't have that, I don't really like how they like kind of like reduced everything down to like the Escher are like physicians. They like make drugs. The Goliaths work in the iron forges. The like
Okay.
I feel
Yeah, so they
I feel
almost
it
like really narrowed their. Or, I mean,
I
I
feel
guess I
they've
didn't really read the old Necromunda shit. I think it's gone less punk slash rebellion and more. Yeah, like yeah, I think that's true. Meandering Shade.
I
Um,
don't know if I love it a whole lot. It like I feel they're trying to read into it too much. Like, oh, remember those cool models? Like the Van Sars had those cool green suits. Like, let's make that. That wasn't just because like that was a style or a look that the gang was trying to do. Let's make that like there was actually a deep rooted meaning. And I
yeah,
feel
like yeah,
sometimes trying to get almost seems like it's retcon. Like let's go back and make every little aspect of it like super meaningful, even though it's clear that that was never the intent. It seems like
yeah.
that sometimes it feels like they're digging a little too deep.
Well, I mean, maybe they. I guess probably in some regards they're wanting to take some of. Maybe they're wanting to add their own spin to some of these because a lot of the gangs are kind of just in some regards like rife with pretty common stereotypes and stuff, and like they're not, you couldn't necessarily say that's distinctly like a Games Workshop Warhammer thing, and so maybe by them
That's true.
changing some of those things they're trying to like work it into like their own unique IP or something. I don't know. I don't like
Yeah,
it.
there's I think there's truth to that.
What are the Caldor doing? Why are they? Who are they?
I
Well,
don't
I don't
know.
even care. Like whatever. But I
Yeah,
think
I
what is
don't
it? The
know.
Van Zar like they have like a corrupted STC unit or something
They have
that
the
like
best
makes,
technology because of the STC unit, but then it secretly is irradiating them.
so they have those suits to like keep them alive or something.
I don't remember if
That's
it's to
not
keep
how
them alive.
radiation work. Like,
I don't know.
well, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. They're still doing stuff with Necromunda. That's good.
Yeah, it's good that they still have places to go and stuff to make, and that will, even if you're not playing Necromunda, it will still allow for more conversion material. So that's good.
Yeah. Um, they showed a lot of trashy looking Horus Heresy models. That's cool.
Got dime a dozen.
Mm-hmm. They're like all horrible. That thing's weird. It's okay. And then somewhere I was hoping they'd use this opportunity to show a lot more Sister of Battle stuff, but it turns out they didn't show anything. When that's not entirely true. They showed a painted version of
But
the
in
One
meandering
Ranger.
shade, yeah, the lock models are, yeah, basically as tall as, certainly at least as tall.
Oh, yeah, so, God, do I? I'm
Our
pretty
Instagram
sure.
doesn't have the
Let me
best.
look. I think we have a post on it, our Instagram, showing one of my. Uh,
I guess
showing
looking
our
at
one
it,
conversion.
you have the one, the Haber, the Hapman Haber by
Yeah.
your Primaris conversion, which I guess, admittedly, if the Primaris was standing straight up, he would be taller.
Oh,
But they're
come
still really
on.
tall. All your Christmas cards.
Yep, I draw Christmas cards. Um, where is, or do I only have the? Wow. Oh,
You
yeah.
have
Here we
one
go.
next to Acadian too.
Yeah, so here's the our Delok conversion next to like our Marine conversion, and so this sort of does make it look like the Delok model is taller than one of the Primaris, but I think so. The Delok model's largely standing up straight, and I think if you did the same with the Primaris Marine, the Marine would be taller, but not by a huge margin. So yeah,
Mm-mm.
they're too big. They made them too big. I don't think I don't think many people could argue against that.
I think then it's just gonna try to argue that, like, oh, that's their thing. That's their. Uh, yeah, they're just there.
Yeah. The Ruined Storm Demons are surprisingly good looking. Like, I thought they'd look horrible, but they actually look pretty good. Um, but yeah, so the Deluxe models are huge. But yeah, they are cool. I like them. Um, okay, so I guess we can quickly look at the Ruined Storm Demons or whatever the fuck they're called. Past them. Yeah, here they are. Like, they actually look okay. I mean, I don't. They're in some regards, I think they're maybe a little generic, but I think that's fine.
Kind of look like Diablo,
They
like
do.
from Blizzard's Diablo. But yeah, I think they look pretty neat.
They're fine. Yeah. All right. Let's get back to the one Sister of Battle model they showed painted. Um.
Well, we should try to go to the weekly Sister of Battle update has some pictures of it, and they compare and they like show that model next to Karl Kapinski's illustration of it, like right next to one another, and they do a good job of showing the main way that Games Workshop failed with this Sister of Battle model.
Okay. So here's the artwork, and so I mean they did do a pretty good job of keeping them similar. But yeah, I feel there's one major thing that's really different, and that's the
Yeah,
how big.
anyone could guess it if you're listening to our pod or like
Yeah, you probably already
talk.
know what we're gonna say, but look, why the bolter is like significantly fatter and bigger than the one in Carl's illustration. Like if they had just been faithful in that one detail, the model would be a lot better.
Looks much worse.
The grenades are bigger too.
Well, Adam, that's so when people are looking across the table, they
Oh,
know
hey,
she
well.
has grenades. It's important. It's really important. And for looking across the table, like it's important to know she has a bolter. It would be hard. It would be hard to tell otherwise
I mean,
if
the
it was
bolter
small.
still looks pretty good, but it's significantly larger than the one in the illustration.
It looks comical there. like on the model.
She's
It's
pulling the
much
trigger too.
it's
That's
much
cool.
much bigger than her whole body. Like it's practically bigger than she is. It's half the size of her.
Yeah, so I mean, in Carl's illustration, the bolter is pretty big. Her finger is like lightly on the trigger. It's not. She's not pulling it. Maybe not. But so it's rough. It's still big. It is big. But it's pretty thin. It actually looks like it sort of has a front and rear sight. So that's good. So let's look at the model again. Yeah, it's too big. And it
I
doesn't
mean,
have the rear sight.
it's funny that I mean it's probably still small. I'm sure it's still smaller than the Space Marine ones.
Yeah, which
So
is
that's
actually good. So you could
something.
probably use Sister of Battle bolters for your Space Marines to good
Another
effect.
thing, this one there are a lot less bolts in the magazine.
Yeah, that's true. Each
So
round
that
is
magazine
huge.
has like probably 4 bolts in there,
Yeah, this
and
one
she's
actually has
already
a
pulling.
bunch.
She's pulling the trigger, so like they're gonna be gone, and
Two in a
like
second, they'll all be
yeah, like a
gone.
millisecond, they're gone.
The bore of the barrel is bigger than their shells too. That's cool.
It's always cool.
Okay, so we've bashed the bolter enough. Everyone who's listened to our podcasts and read any of our blog posts know we don't like GW weapons. Aside from
It's so
that,
stupid.
yeah, aside from that, the model does look good.
Yeah, it does, and
The
I think it's actually
details
plastic.
the
So
details are good. Um, the model's proportioned really well. Like she actually has gear and stuff
yeah,
on
meandering
her.
shade.
Like
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't look like the bolters a nod to the older um, second edition style ones. It looks just like a slightly changed version of the like third edition Space Marine plastic bolter, which is kind of a shame. They also, unlike Carl's picture, they moved the bolt up, the bolt that like to charge and load around in. It was moved
yeah,
up like the third edition Space Marine bolters to where it makes probably less sense.
yeah. God. Well,
Just one more reason why I have to make some smaller bolters such that when we would get some of these, so it'll just be yeah, can
then
converter to not
another
look
conversion corner.
yeah. Then we can get some people will come on and comment saying that we don't know the lore behind bolters.
That's probably true. That'll be cool. I like it.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah, so I don't know. The model looks good. It's nice to finally see a painted model and not just renders. So I mean that's good too. Um, Hopefully in the next event they actually show more of the models. Um, so I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
they've
see.
been bringing it along.
Yeah, we'll see. This was probably the best thing that they've shown for the sisters yet. Um,
But they could have, because I think there were pictures of the sprue at the community day. They should have put that up on here so people would like. I think that
mm,
probably would have generated more excitement. Like, oh, it's not like shit resin or something like.
yeah,
And that in itself suggests that they're actually taking this seriously. But well, it is what it is. It is what it is.
yeah. I mean, the model looks great. The weapon looks terrible. We knew this would happen. So whatever. Um, is there anything else from Warhammer Fest we want to at least briefly touch on, Eric?
Contrast paints. You excited?
No, I don't think so. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I hardly even use, like, the shades and stuff Games Workshop offers, so, like, I guess the contrast paints, from my understanding, is there's sort of like a system where you can kind of combine like a layer paint and the shade in one go,
Yeah.
sort of. But I think you first have to paint or spray the model in one of two like primers, sort of, like a brown and like an off-white primer, and then you lather on a thick coat of one of these contrast
Do you think
paints.
it has to be a particular one, or it's just like it works better if they're primed white?
I don't think it's completely white. There are two different. I think there are two
Okay.
different colors. Like one's like a whitish gray, and one's like
Mm.
a beige color or something. And apparently, you're supposed to paint or spray the model that color, and then you paint the contrast paint over it. You lather it over in one coat, and then when it dries, it it sort of looks like in one fell swoop you painted and then added the shade over top of it.
Yeah, no, I mean it. I think it's neat. I mean, I think from what I hear, it's not actually an acrylic, so it's like a different thing. So that's kind of neat. And I mean, admittedly, I feel it's just a nice thing for if you're like kind of more on the competitive side and you really are wanting to build a large army and get stuff painted that look okay quickly. So I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, and I think it might be fun to experiment with it, but I think still, just like um, the way GW10s, like kind of their, as they even put it here, their classic method of getting a model battle ready is like simple base coats, slather a wash over it, and like you're done. So this, like that, obviously doesn't won't look that good either to begin with. So this is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I think they'll be good in select applications. And I also heard that instead of using one of those foundation like colors first, I think you can also just start from like a metallic color and put one of
Mhm.
these over top of that to get a similar effect. But I feel, yeah, these will very much be something where you'll have to experiment with them. And I think if they might be good for certain interesting techniques and stuff. And I think,
I
yeah,
feel
they're
you. There will be some interesting stuff that will come out of it, and I think for people, like, because if you are all about like your main focus is like, let's say, converting models to make all sorts of cool little interesting war bands, and the painting isn't something that you want to spend a huge amount of time on, I think these might be the in particular if you've already like used a lot of washes
mm-hmm.
in your painting style, they might be a way to get a similar effect or possibly an even more varied and like good looking one with using them. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the easiest way to learn about them is if you were actually there using them, because none of their videos or the pictures do a great job of telling you exactly what it is and what you have to do. But we'll see. I'm sure there'll be more information out in the coming weeks, and I don't know,
It'll be
maybe
interesting because Warhammer, like their YouTube thing, they're like constantly releasing like
how to
kind of
paint.
beginner painting
Yeah.
videos, like how to paint this model. And it'll be interesting to see if they like really shift to primarily using these because most of those videos are somewhat towards the beginner level. And it'd be interesting, like, will they just sort of switch to that completely? Or,
Meandering Shade, I've not used any of the like ghost tint paints from Badger or the Tamiya clear paints, so like I don't, but it's very possible they're similar to some of that other stuff. Yeah. Johnny, yeah, interested in knowing actually what it is. Yeah, I think a lot of people are sort of like that. Before this, I went around a little
Yeah.
looking on YouTube, trying to find people who actually were there and used the paints. And there are a couple videos floating around that you can find that are a little more informative. But like one of the people that I was listening to, they said like if say you make a mistake and like you get paint on one of the areas that you had this contrast paint on, apparently what they recommend you doing is you reapply the initial medium or foundation over the place you made the mistake and then paint the contrast paint over it again. So it's almost as if you prime your model with the medium or whatever, or the foundation, you put the contrast paint over it, let it dry, and then if you have to make a correction, you essentially have to redo the whole process, which
Yeah, so
seems
that's
a little
interesting.
weird, but and then you almost, it gets to the point where like, well, maybe you could just touch it up and add a similar one of their shade paints or something to try and fix it. I don't know. But I
Yeah, I
think,
think
yeah,
ultimately we just need to see. They need to kind of get out in the wild such that people can use them.
yeah,
Like, because they're certainly not going to be this magical thing that just takes away the art and interest in painting.
no.
So
But I think they are primarily for people who want to, like, really quickly get, like, an army painted and make them look pretty good.
that's what
Um,
I want.
that's what I like. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what happens with them. We'll see what happens.
I
Damn, they
guess
actually.
maybe we could ask like anyone who's listening to this was something like other than like for like the 40K announcements and stuff. What do you think was the coolest looking thing?
Of the 40K stuff?
Yeah,
Uh,
because they did release a lot of stuff, but I feel
they did actually announce a lot of stuff, but it was sort of just a whole bunch of piecemeal, non connected stuff
yeah.
that, like.
Oh, I guess why would I even ask such a thing like that? Obviously, everyone's favorite thing was Apocalypse. Clearly,
Yeah.
oh, actually, the Bandai Space Marine. That's interesting.
The Bandai Space Marine is interesting. Uh, I guess they have the Normandy amphibious lander, too, right?
They do.
Wait,
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
let's look at it.
John, you mentioned the Chaos Knights are I think are pretty cool looking. I
The,
like how they changed the legs.
you actually forgot about them already.
How they have like they're jointed kind of in the back like a warhound. Like I think that's pretty neat.
Oh my god. Maybe I passed them. I don't. They did announce a lot of stuff.
The
But yeah,
knights are at
this.
the bottom.
They're at the bottom. Okay. Did I pass them? Oh. That looks good.
Yeah, I think the legs on the knight are like the coolest aspect. I mean, maybe the Chaos Knight has a few too many spikes here or there that I could kind of don't need, but that stuff could be easily removed. Overall, I think they made like legitimate changes to the knight model. It wasn't just like, oh, we added one half sprue that had a different head and one different weapon. Like they made real changes to make the model different.
Mm-hmm.
And they still kept it looking like a knight. They didn't turn it into like, because so much of chaos has shifted over the years from like second and third edition. They've shifted to fleshy constructs like There aren't dreadnoughts. They're hell brutes. They're
Mm-hmm.
like hell drakes and um, all that stuff. It's all that sort of demonic Akira flesh mutation stuff, and it's nice to see with this that it's still just a knight.
Yeah, they look good. They actually look really good. I'm impressed.
Like they even made it like that one weapon, the laser las cannon, something or other.
The
That's like
turbo laser
actually
looking thing.
different. It's a different weapon. So like I feel they actually went beyond what they would have had to do with the knight, and that's good. And like they made kind of some creepy looking face masks, and I think they are actually neat looking. They go beyond like just sort of classic like oh let's just shit out a skull and something with horns, and I feel they're better designed than that.
Yeah, they look good.
And yeah, meandering said I think ultimately I do like the lander thing. I feel it's still one of those things that right when I saw it, it wasn't just like fuck that's so cool. It was like huh, that's interesting. It's like a Normandy lander. That's kind of cool, but like I had to sort of stop and think about it. Did I like it? It wasn't just see it right away like fuck that's great. Um, but it is neat that it's legitimately a different looking thing, and it looks yeah well done. Um, and yeah, I think as you're saying there, it would be cool for like skirmish like stuff for actually making like something for a infiltrating like kill team of Imperial Guardsmen or something. I could kind of see like that Tanith first and only going in on some of these onto some like so I feel that it's cool. And yet I as you all kind of mentioned, like it's hard to overstate how kind of nice it is that it actually looks it's like a different thing.
It looks so different. It looks good. I like it. I think I like it a lot actually. They have one that's more of like a tank, and then they have one that's more like the armored the landing
Yeah, it's oh
transport thing.
I would really like how they have a top down picture of the tank one and
Look how
the
it's bent.
barrel of the main cannon's bent.
That's weird.
That's the attention to detail I crave.
That's cool.
It's literally bent.
Huh.
Good job, guys.
Huh. And it's not even just a little. It's like a licorice stick. Like a licorice pipe. That's what that is.
It does look like one of those, but yeah, it is substantially bent.
Huh. Wow.
It's pretty cool.
I feel this will be great for like all manner of weird vehicle conversion opportunities.
Yeah.
Like the
Well,
little transport that has like the little heavy stubber like battery on the top that maybe is controlled by like a servitor that's wired in
it
there.
looks cool. People will use that for a lot.
Yeah, it looks good.
But I think you're right, Meandering Shade. It would be awesome to take this and just modify it slightly, and it almost like just some Forge World, like uh, or like the Imperial Guard on some campaign needed something to do some beachhead sort of whatever landing stuff, and the mechanic is like they had some of these and they like quickly stripped it down and retrofitted it for whatever that application is, like because you wouldn't have to convert it into like an entirely new thing. You could still kind of accept it that this is something the mechanicus uses, but
Mm.
they could retrofit it for other applications. Like, and I don't really like the stubbers coming off the side of it. When actually, so in the one picture there, when you see the little Skitari standing on the inside manning it, it makes it that looks like that barrel's bent too. It's bent upwards
It sure is.
based on how he's holding the gun.
Come on, guys. What are you doing?
But that would look better if it was smaller too. Like I think the size of the stubbers or whatever on the little turret mount on the top, that looks pretty fine. But
Well, I mean, look at the size of the cartridges that are feeding into it. They don't even match. They don't match. Well, so I
probably
mean, here
four of those could fit down the barrel of.
probably more than that. Probably
Yeah.
closer to like 8.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense. That's GW.
Well, I mean, it's interesting here that it's possible that they drilled out the bore of those barrels, but or maybe they're like two halves you glue together.
It's
If
they probably drilled them out.
if they drill them out, then it's just whoever
So you have the
assembled it.
opportunity to do
It
it.
was their mistake.
Yeah.
Uh, it's good. I like it.
Is there a vision slit on them? Can you tell? Like to know where to fire those guns?
I don't think so.
Skitari, they can deal with it.
Yeah, they don't need that. It's just at suppressing fire. Like they're not trying to hit anything.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so actually,
It's fine.
it was actually a pretty good. It was a good Warhammer Fest. They showed a lot of stuff. I almost feel like coming into it before we really spent some time talking about it. I almost would have said like they almost. It's like they almost didn't reveal anything. But I mean that's not true at all. It's just they revealed so many small things that weren't really at all related to one another that it's kind of easy to forget about a lot of the stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean, Aeronautica Imperialis is coming back.
Oh, yeah, actually, I did see that. That's
I mean, it
cool.
was basically a trailer that showed nothing. So, so hell, maybe that's a sign that like Epic is slowly coming back, adding planes back and the Titans, and someday they'll merge together and
Maybe.
be the best thing. The best thing.
Well, so here actually, we're not gonna to talk about this too much, but in this picture of the contrast paints with the Marines, you see these two rattle cans. I think these are the two foundation colors you put down first before applying the like contrast paint over top of them. It looks like the whitish one is called Wraith. I don't know
Hmm.
what the brown one is called. Pretty cool, yo.
Pretty cool.
Oh, and they have a big thing of Funko Pops. I don't know
So many
about you,
Funko
Eric, but
Pop.
I'm pretty excited to get the Funko Pops. I almost ordered a set of them today from Amazon, but I
Did you
didn't.
give them out on the stream to all our
Yeah,
viewers,
that's what we'll
all
do. We'll open
two of
them
our
and look at
viewers?
them. Oh, yeah, the Funko Pops. Huh. So, yeah. Okay, so I don't know. I think we've talked enough about um, Warhammer Fest. I know one of the things I wanted to spend a little time talking about um, the newest conversion that I'm working on. In this case, it's a conversion for our conversion corner segment, and it's to convert what I believe will be the final Sister of Sigmar in the warband. Um, and so this model I was inspired by the Sister of Sigmar warband Alex created for Mordheim. And so
Echoes of Imperium,
yeah,
Alex
Echoes of
Winberg.
Imperium. And so I don't know. Here's a picture of some of them. And for this, each of the members was converted using one of the Delac trench coat models. And so like they have a really kind of like black death metal vibe to them, all wearing like heavy leathers and masks. Do you remember, Eric, what like the background for these were? Are these like kind of I sort of are these kind of like the um members of sort of like the inner citadel that are sort of like guarding the wardstone and stuff that they pull out of Mordheim?
Um, yeah, I admit I don't quite recall.
That's sort of what I thought. And then I think Alex also showed you some of his inspiration for them were like yeah, different black death metal bands wearing all their black leather and white face paints and masks. So, with that in mind, I sort of thought I would try my hand at making one of them as well, particularly because like I bought these deluxe models and maybe I could make a similar
Have to
conversion
do
pretty
something
quickly.
with them.
Yeah, I have to do something with them. Um, and so I'm pretty soon. I think I'm pretty soon finished with the model. But so let's bring up one of the pictures. Okay, so here's the start of my interpretation of one of them. Um, Still working a little bit on the mask and everything, but I'm sort of kind of going for more of like a medieval like plague doctor look with like the masks. Um, and I spent some time trying to like change some of the detailing and stuff to look a little different. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like I changed like the little belt buckle. Added one of the little twin-tailed comets that I sculpted. Um, I
Yeah, no, looks
also
good.
modified some of the little buckles and stuff on the coat to look like the little twin-tailed comets. Um, and then in her right hand, I'm still working on this, but I'm sort of the idea is she's like holding up like a little holy symbol. In this case, it's gonna be like a little flaming hammer of Sigmar.
Does it look to you like, I mean, I guess you're potentially working on it. Does it look like the hammerhead is like up too far?
Yeah, I'd probably have to cut that down a little bit.
I mean, I feel like if you just cut it slightly shorter, it would
Yeah.
do it.
And then she's holding like a dagger behind her back,
Oh,
a
nice.
large
Thanks for
dagger.
joining us, Johnny. Um, nice to always hear your thoughts and whatnot. And yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully we can talk to you again soon.
You know, I think the plague doctor look isn't. They haven't really actually explored that very much in like the different ranges of Warhammer. Um, I guess
Yeah, I feel like
maybe some
something
of
that
the
you kind of
goblin
assume would be there, kind of like trench coats in Warhammer 40,000, but until these Deluxe models, they
kind
weren't.
of didn't exist. Yeah.
Same with like the body glove imagery that's like all over the place and a lot of the Black Library stuff. It's not really in many models, other than the Van Saar and like I guess maybe some of the assassin models, perhaps.
Yeah.
But
No, it's true.
yeah, you're really taking advantage of the that Tidecaster whatever mod. Is that what it was
Yeah,
called? The
that like
Internet
elf
Deepkin.
Toddcaster model. That was the first model that I bought for like the conversion. Bought for a potential conversion opportunity for the Sisters of Sigmar, and that's where the head for this one came from, and the little hand holding that little
Actually,
seagull
how tall
were
does she
situated.
look compared to like some of the other models in the Warband?
I'll have to take pictures of that later, and we'll post them eventually. She's
Mm-hmm.
pretty tall, but then again, some of the other members in the warband are pretty tall, like the one that's running holding the shield.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's like kind of hunched down a little bit, but there are a couple of them that are actually pretty big. But I think she will stand a good head taller than some of the other ones. Um,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
but I've had fun working with this one, and it's been sort of nice. Like since she is wearing like these heavy leathers and stuff, like I didn't really have to do a whole lot of work to like the body and stuff of the model, and it was largely just playing around with sculpting some smaller details and stuff.
Yeah.
So that has been kind of nice because for a lot of the other models in the warband, like I sort of had to resculpt a lot of their torsos and all of that stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, them blowing up the old world did really screw over a lot of potential ideas. Oh. No, I feel in terms of like the Plague Doctor imagery, probably the closest they've really gotten is like some of the Goblin models. Some of their like armored helmets and stuff, they have kind of like the beak, but I mean that's just armor for their big noses. So
Didn't Meandering didn't you like win something for didn't you recently paint that old uh what Fen Beast model
oh yeah, I
from
think
back
that's
in the
true.
day? Didn't you? It looked really good. I feel
It did look good. I that came out during one of their like they had their summer battle tours for Warhammer, and
yeah.
the that was cool. See if
Yeah,
I
it was a
can
while ago.
a long
Long
while
while
ago.
ago.
Can I find? Yeah, you did win. It's a great model. You did a great job with like the base and everything. It looks like you have like some different like water effects on it too. That's something I'd like to try a little bit more as well. Like all the mosses and stuff look great.
I feel the water sort of affecting could be a nice way to add a little definition to bases and such without being really overdone. It could still be sort of a minor thing,
Yeah,
but like it adds a little variety.
looks great. Did this model also came with sort of like a barbarian looking dude? Or maybe it didn't come with this, but there was like around the same time there was this weird barbarian dude with a spear, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they were
Like the
all
epitome
like.
of
It's been a
evil,
while.
whatever. Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
on like it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Interesting. I'll have to look more into that because that's something I've certainly considered trying to get some of the different like water effects. I mean, I think thus far most of the bases and stuff I've made I haven't really designed them to really contain any water elements and stuff, but I think that's
Yeah.
something I should work on in the future. I need to. Yeah, so that's where I've been with in terms of the hobby. Hopefully, this sister will be done soon, and then I can focus more heavily on the painting because, oh boy, I have a lot of painting I need to do and not a lot of time.
Me too.
And
Me
I feel
too.
like
I
like,
could still try to paint one of those casts in the one of the really black paints and see what it looks like at them.
that I feel could be one of the latter things we do. I think I might
Yeah.
eventually get the newer variant of it.
Is it supposed to like arrive sometime soon?
Black 3. Apparently they were supposed to
Yeah.
ship it out in May. It's May now, so maybe.
No. Okay. Well, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Hmm. So is there anything else we want to talk about tonight, Eric?
I mean, maybe not. Maybe
Hmm.
not.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
we said what we wanted to say.
I guess when we do the next thing, which may be later this week where we record the podcast, we should really plan out exactly what we're going to talk about for Warhammer
Yeah.
Fest because there is a ton of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Because we didn't even talk about the. We'll have to talk about the war cry stuff.
Mm, that's
The
true.
snakes on a plane.
Snakes on a
War cry
plane.
stuff.
I never watched that movie.
Yeah, admittedly, I didn't either, so I was just talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we should plan it out a little bit because, yeah, as you said, there is a lot of stuff there, including some New Age of Sigmar terrain. Oh, yeah.
As much as we make fun of it, it's most of their terrain's really nice. If you wanted to quickly get terrain.
No, it's true. It's true. Yeah, so maybe we just call it a night.
Yeah, no, I think so. We've covered everything we think we needed to talk about. I got to ramble on about the Sister of Sigmar model I'm working on, and I'll probably have more complete pictures in the coming days. So look forward to that. Thanks everyone for listening, and thanks Meandering Shade. Thanks for your comments, and
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
yeah, no, it was a good time. And expect to hear from us pretty soon. Um,
Yep.
maybe talking about a lot of the stuff we already talked about today, but maybe being a little more focused on certain things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, thanks again, Meandering Shade, for joining us. It's always good to have a few viewers and kind of go
Yeah.
back and forth about different opinions about stuff. So you're always welcome. Thanks again for being here. And so we'll expect to hear from us soon. Keep on
Yep.
enjoying the hobby and maybe try and get some sleep. That's what I'm going to be doing soon, I think.
Yeah, true. Me too.
All right, everybody. Talk to you again soon.
Yep. See ya.
Over and out.